The pleasure of finding something is worth more than what you find. Little by little, the wool becomes a carpet. You cannot hang everything on one nail. The needle makes clothes but stays naked. Death is a camel that lies down at every door. A diamond fallen into a dunghill is no less precious. A blind man who sees is better than a sighted man who is blind. Write kindness in marble, write injuries in dust. You can close the city gates, but you can't close a person's mouth. Luck is infatuated with the efficient. In this world, generous people have no money, and those with money are not generous. The loveliest faces are to be seen by moonlight. Necessity changes a lion into a fox. The best instruction is to practice what you preach. There are 3 things that have to be done quickly: burying the dead, opening the door for a stranger, and fixing your daughter's wedding. Bravery without foresight is like a blind horse. A beggar will always be a beggar, even if you give him the whole world. Trust in God, but tie your camel tightly. Never marry a woman who has bigger feet than you. You can't pick up 2 melons with one hand. When a cat wants to eat her kittens, she says they look like mice. When the snake is old, the frog will tease him. Write kindness in marble, write injuries in dust. Thinking well is wise, planning well wiser, but doing well is the wisest and best of all. You can't squeeze blood from a rock. When you are really thirsty, you don't desire 1,000 pearls. A greedy man is always poor. Never open a door that you can't lock again. An arrow can be pulled out of a wound, but a hurtful word stays forever in your heart. There are 3 kinds of enemies: your enemy himself, the friend of your enemy, and the enemy of your friend. 1 pound of learning could require an army of common sense to apply. 1 sin is too much, 100 prayers not enough. Bribery makes both parties happy. Heaven is at the feet of mothers. Experience is a calm that nature gives to men when they are bald. An ungrateful son is a wart on his father's nose. He leaves it alone and it's ugly. He removes it and it hurts. A real grave is not in the ground, but in men's hearts. The earth is a host who kills his guests. Life is like perpetual drunkenness. The pleasure passes, but the headache remains. The arrow that has left the bow never returns. Thinking is the essence of wisdom. Take care lest your tongue cut off your head. Fear those who do not fear God. The wise man who does not put his knowledge into practice is like a bee that gives no honey. Debts are like women. Once you have them, you can't get rid of them. A blind man who sees is better than a sighted man who is blind. Drawn wells have the sweetest water. He who wants a rose must beware of the thorn. A stone thrown at the right time might be better than gold given at the wrong time. Never marry a woman who has bigger feet than you. A beggar will always be a beggar, even if you give him the whole world. Listening to good advice is the way of wealth. A pleasant voice brings a snake out of its hole. Friendship with a fool may turn into a hug from a bear. One scabby goat infects the flock. Solved riddles look easy. Trust in God, but tie your camel tightly. The guard's sleep is the lamplight of the thief. The best memory is that which forgets nothing but injuries. He who doesn't go to war roars like a lion. When its time has come, the prey goes to the hunter. Death is a camel that lies down at every door. 1 pound of learning could require an army of common sense to apply. Luck is infatuated with the efficient. Write kindness in marble, write injuries in dust. A diamond fallen into a dunghill is no less precious. Use your enemy's hand to catch a snake. Life is like perpetual drunkenness. The pleasure passes, but the headache remains. Every man goes up to his death, bearing in his hands only that which he has given away. You cannot hang everything on one nail. Maturity comes from wisdom, not in the passing of years. 4 walls make a man free. A greedy man is always poor. He whose heart is aroused by love will never die. A sword in the hands of a drunken slave is less dangerous than science in the hands of an immoral man. Thinking well is wise, planning well wiser, but doing well is the wisest and best of all. Death is a camel that lies down at every door. Fear those who do not fear God. The way a house is decorated will tell much about its owner. The loveliest faces are to be seen by moonlight. Do not cut down the tree that gives you shade. When you are really thirsty, you don't desire 1,000 pearls. Necessity changes a lion into a fox. There are 3 kinds of enemies: your enemy himself, the friend of your enemy, and the enemy of your friend. A stone thrown at the right time might be better than gold given at the wrong time. A diamond fallen into a dunghill is no less precious. Friendship with a fool may turn into a hug from a bear. Take care lest your tongue cut off your head. Drawn wells have the sweetest water. Maturity comes from wisdom, not in the passing of years. The arrow that has left the bow never returns. What you give away is all you truly own. An empty cart rattles the loudest. The lion's share often goes to the fox who waits. Words are like keys. If you choose them right, they can open any heart. Do not pour oil on the fire of anger. A wise enemy is better than a foolish friend. Water that is too pure has no fish. A man who talks too much often says little of value. The shadow of a tree is more valuable in heat than gold. A single spark can burn down an entire forest. Silence is often the best answer to foolish words. If you want to test a man's character, give him power. A word spoken cannot be taken back like an arrow shot. The wise man drinks water and leaves wine for the fool. Trust grows like a tree but falls like a stone. Better to stumble with the foot than with the tongue. A house without a guest is like a garden without flowers. A mirror shows what is in front, but not what is behind. A heart full of pride has no room for wisdom. If you carry a lantern for others, it will light your own path. Do not blame the well for your bad bucket. Greed is the mother of all troubles. A gentle word can break a hard heart. Do not put out the lamp of a poor man. The darkness may find you. A foolish man eats his seed. A wise man plants it. Those who fight fire with fire often end up with ashes. Give your love to the living, not the dead. A word of kindness can warm 3 winters. Every tree was once a seed that persevered.